Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and surprise, doing it live. Okay, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to see comments down there, but if you guys want to ask me questions, then by all means, just don't be mad if I don't see them all, because little tiny words. So anyway, Captain Marvel trailer just dropped about 3 hours ago, and holy crap! Sorry, let's make this partial reaction. Like yeah, the reaction videos are always like that. So anyway, um, this was this was sick. This was sick. My expectations were already high. So I'm thinking to myself, no, calm down, calm down, calm down, because your expectations are really high. It doesn't quite meet. It's like, what's up, Dylan Anthony? I know, right? I'm figuring like my expectations are never gonna, be able to meet. They're gonna have to meet in the middle somewhere with what I actually see. Nope, nope, nope. I was like, my expectations are up here. I'm trying to come down, and the trailer comes down and says, "Get back up here." So I was, that was great, man. That was great. So in the beginning, let's just try and break this down as much as possible. Explosion in the sky. It looks like some kind of a pod is breaking into the atmosphere, and it well it pierces into the atmosphere, and then hey, what's going on, Raven? How you doing from Australia? So all of a sudden, it comes right through the atmosphere and it breaks apart, and then we just see her falling. And this is actually in her green suit. So this is before she becomes Captain Marvel proper. And instead of actually having like a year up on top, like, oh, this happened in 1990 or whatever, they just show that she fell into a blockbuster video. Holy crap, how freaking awesome is that? One professor, one thing I noticed they did not get for Captain Marvel is, and then it stops. I can't see the rest. My expectations were really low, but now I'm excited. Exactly, Infinity. So she lands in a blockbuster video. Boom! That perfectly. So, like in a comic book, you're gonna have up here, somewhere in this part of the city in 1993. Like no, here they're just here's a blockbuster video. Bang! So we still don't know where this happens. Hold on for that. So okay, she's in a blockbuster video. She's looking around. She's like, oh hey, these things are still around. Not really, but yeah. We hear Nick Fury talking about. Have to wait until March. I know. Nick Fury's like, oh, soldiers. I know a renegade soldier when I see one. Then we see where she's actually at. She's in the subway area. I was surprisingly impressed we didn't see original Captain Marvel, how she became Marvel. Need to watch it again or be patient. Well, hold for that. Hold for that. Because we do see, okay, gotcha. She has a bigger chest? Really, Ed D? Really? We're worried about her chest size? So, what do you call it? That completely threw me off. Are you serious? We're worried about chest size here? So, um, anyway, okay, so on here we have she's in this platform. It's almost like platform what is it, 9 3/4? All right, it's not quite Harry Potter. Rather, you look at some of the places where these platforms lead to, and you can tell right away it's Los Angeles. You don't have to really wait that far because later on she's going to be, I don't know, attacking somebody on the train, and you're going to see that exactly, Yeto. This is looking great. We're going to see that they show this really is. Watch more carefully. Getting infused with her powers. Yeah, exactly. You can see that she is being infused with her powers here. But really, okay, I have to stop looking at these. So she, anyway, she's in Los Angeles, and at one point she's going to be fighting on a train in Los Angeles, and that's where it starts to get really sick. So we see Marvel Studios, and we break right into her doing this thumbprint. This looks like it's way back in the day, but she does still have her shield hat on, which is fine because shield did come into existence a while ago. So we see clearly now that she is actually in Los Angeles, in the rail system there. A very young Nick Fury. We're going to see a very young Agent Coulson also, which perfect. So happy to see him back in the movies again, even if this is just in the past when Blockbuster was a thing, or sooner. We see Monica Rambeau's mother. I'm imagining this is her mother or her aunt or just somebody like that. This is not Monica Rambeau properly. I didn't see the scene in here, but there is an image that went out online some time ago, a couple weeks ago, of a woman who looks like Monica sitting in a jet, and it says Rambeau on it. and she's got her hand on the outside of the jet while she's sitting in the cockpit, but it doesn't say Monica. I forget what the name is, but it's somebody else's name. That being the case, this is clearly not Monica Rambeau. Now, and if anybody's curious, the first person in the Marvel Universe who was called Captain Marvel after Marvel, she was called Marvel, purely, was Monica Rambeau. Then she was called Photon. She's had a whole bunch of names. Currently, she's being called Spectrum. But she does want the Captain Marvel name back, and I don't blame her. I feel honestly she should have the Captain Marvel name because that's what I grew up reading her as back in the old Hulk comics and the Avenger comics. She has the ability to turn herself completely into any form of light or radiation that she chooses, visible or invisible. So she is unbelievably powerful. And it's supposed to be Monica's mom, Maria. There we go, Maria. Thank you, Breck. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing they got that in here, and I wouldn't mind if, like, just the idea that means that Monica technically exists in the universe. Good enough for now. Good enough for now. Anybody who's all the women out there who are like, we need a good, strong female lead in the movies. Yay, we finally got Captain Marvel. I'm sure there are a lot of black women out there saying we could use a good, strong female black lead. Monica Rambeau would perfectly fit that mold in every way, shape, and form. Monica and Adam. I'm not sure where you're coming from, Subham, but okay. Hey, what's up? So she's doing her testing. This looks like this is after she returns to Earth, because what do you call it? She's thinking I can do better than what I'm doing here. So she's yeah, exactly, to be Spectrum. So anyway, she's trying to jump from rope to rope in like a basic training type setting. So we could be confused and think, oh yeah, man, she's this is before she goes off and becomes an astronaut. Not the case. Not the case. This looks to me like this is after she gets back from, after she crashes into, so around Blockbuster Video time, where she's trying to see what she can do, and she's leaping. She's like, I know I can do better than this. I can fly. She knows that somehow she can fly, and she misses. She falls, and she lands on the ground. Doesn't seem very contused, but she, like, you see the thing later on in her hand. It kind of blows up. No worry, Ed D. So her hand kind of, expands a little bit and does some cool things. Also, guys, if you want to know more about who Captain Marvel is, one of my I think my third viral video that actually got put out was 10 things about Captain Marvel explained in a minute. So it's about a minute 49 seconds because I got an intro and I got like 20 seconds of an outro. But okay, I'm back live. I'm back live. I had to turn on my cellular data. I don't know why my local Wi-Fi went silly. Anyhow, so I'm back. She is clearly being all sorts of, pumped up with her power. She when she falls, she gets that little glow in her hand showing, oh, I got powers, I'm unlocking something. And then we see a little bit of a backstory. So what's up, Joseph Books? Go check out his channel. So we see her memories of her back in the Kree world. Now here's something that's very important. On her left and her right, you see two blue-skinned Kree. Now I haven't put up videos about this yet, but one of these days I am going to get into the explanation. I'll do it really briefly here. The Kree are very interesting people. They have a planet where there is a lot of races. Hala is their homeworld, but they have a whole bunch of planets. They're actually an empire that is perfectly in war with the Kree. Both have done some egregious acts against each other, and the Kree are the original aggressors. Believe it or not, the Skrull were actually a peaceful people. They were a very peaceful group of shape changers who were very fluid with everything, high advances in technology, and they like to come across certain areas and see people who, it's like, oh, they're not very technologically advanced. Let's see if we can help. The very antithesis of the Watcher race, right? Like Uatu the Watcher. So they found these Kree and these people on their also on their planet called the Coatl. I think they were called the Coatl. Anyway, they were pretty much extinct, these Coatl, because the Kree were so violent. And what's more than that, they're extremely racist, because there's the pink-skinned Kree, which look like us. So they could perfectly match with us and perfectly infiltrate. But then there's also the blue-skinned Kree, and the blue-skinned Kree are the superior race, okay? In the sense of they have all the rights, they have all the powers. So that being the case, yeah, I'm going to get to that granny part in a moment because that was hysterical. So we see that what do you call it? She's got the blue skin and the two blue skin Krees on the other side of her. That's interesting because in order to be accepted as a white skinned Kree, you have to be, or they call it pink skinned Kree, you'd have to be unbelievably powerful. And anybody who's thinking, oh, Marvel's going all SJW or whatever, yeah, sure. This is a comic book that existed back in or this storyline existed back in the 70s. So back in the 70s, they were talking about the blue skinned and pink skinned Kree. So okay, but this is simply a social commentary. That's all that this stuff has been in the comic books, and I don't even know if they're going to get into it in the movie. I don't know if they're going to have time to get into that in the movie. Maybe in part 2, but in this particular one, we're just talking about. I'm just talking about like what the Kree Empire is like. Extremely violent, very technologically savvy. Each Kree is about as strong, almost as strong as, let's say, a Captain America. That's real talk. Can they fight as well as Captain America? Not even close. Not even close. But most of them are very militaristic, so they're very, very tough. So what do you call it? They so these guys have indoctrinated her in some way. Now, again, if you want to see the actual origin of Captain Marvel in the comic books, go and check out 10 Things About Captain Marvel Explained in a Minute. I hope that the Supreme Intelligence does appear. That leads for too many great storylines, Subham. So now we get to see a real quick thing of what the heck is this guy's name again? He played Sherlock Holmes's buddy Watson, Jude Law. We get to see Jude Law. His eyes are a little bit freaky, so he's also a pink-skinned Kree. And we see a carnival. Okay, so we see all these things. This is perfect. Anybody who knows and loves Captain Marvel knows exactly what is happening right now at about the minute 28 mark. You keep on seeing different moments in her life. When she was a little kid, when she was looking up to the sky and dreaming about going into space. It is one of the most beautiful, beautiful things. Oh no, social commentary, Red Hyde. Good one, Clint. She is one of the most beautiful stories going. We never really knew a whole lot about Captain Marvel's origin, meaning her childhood. Currently, Margaret Stohl is writing The Life of Captain Marvel. Fantastic 5-issue limited series. Part 3 of 5 comes out tomorrow. I'm going to have my hands on it in about 2 hours. So, but this is a beautiful story, man. We get to see her looking up into space and all the crazy things that she was supposed to do. Again, 10 Things About Captain Marvel Explained in a Minute. But you get to see the dreams of this little girl as she made them happen. We get our first look at the Kree, and then immediately we see her punching a grandmother on the train. We get a first look at the Skrulls. These are shapeshifters. That's important because you're looking at this like, did Captain Marvel just punch an old woman in the face? No. Captain Marvel has a very small molecular control ability. It's extremely weak, and usually she'll only use this for the sake of changing her costume. She can go from regular street clothes and change the molecules to become her costume. And then she also has what's called a seventh sense. Okay, this gives her a sense of like a danger sense. So it's likely that this Kree or this Skrull was about to attack her in some way, but it was definitely disguised as an old woman on this train. So a whole lot of train action going on this. I wonder if Train, the music band, is going to have a song in here. They might as well. But the point is that we see the Skrull. Okay, this green skin thing with the ears, and we know that they are shapeshifters. And then we see this grandmother, and she just cold clocks right in the face. So that is awesome. No, she's not punching a grandmother. That grandmother, her head would have exploded. Captain Marvel, on average, can bench press at resting 50 tons. Okay, she is not one of the, like, she's nowhere near Hulk strength or, you know, Thor strength, God forbid, anything like that. But that's resting. As she absorbs residual energy, specific directed energy against her, she gets stronger. She can go toe-to-toe with an Incredible Hulk. She can almost go toe-to-toe with a standard Phoenix. Dark Phoenix, where she's unleashed, no. She's not a cosmic entity. She's not going toe-to-toe against Dark Phoenix. But standard Phoenix, who's in control of her mind to a degree, she can actually go toe-to-toe with the Phoenix. As Warbird, that's when she goes to her full, 10 Things About Captain Marvel Explained in a Minute. So, is Captain Marvel just Miss Marvel? Captain Marvel, Andrew, used to be Miss Marvel, and then she changed her name to Captain Marvel. Now Kamala Khan has taken the Captain or the Miss Marvel trait. So yes, it is Miss Marvel from back in the days. So We get pagers, beepers, and all that stuff, which is just hysterical. We get to see right here. We actually get to see where she gets. I can't remember the name of the device, but it's explained in my Captain Marvel explained 10 things about Captain Marvel explained in a minute video. But we get to see the device. It looks like that. Boom, blows up, and what it does is it kind of imprints some of Captain Marvel's, so Marvel is actually his name, some of his genetic code onto her. Anywhere from 25 to 50% of his genetic code imprinted on her. Yeah, when she went binary, it was, can she kill Hulk or Thor? She went binary. Thor, probably not. Hulk, she could defeat him, but he would regenerate. He regenerates that quick. But as far as Thor, depends. Marvel Universe Thor is not as strong as comic book Thor. I just put out 10 things about Thor explained in a minute today. Go and check that out. And I'll be putting another one out on Saturday. You'd be surprised what that one is. So yeah, I'm not what you think I am. We see her now in her actual costume, and we're actually seeing her. It looks like she's absorbing some kind of energy at this point because her eyes are glowing and everything. She might be going full Warbird or binary. She's had a couple of names. Mind you, for the sake of conversation, this is the character who, if anybody's wondering, how did Rogue get her powers? Because she's a mutant, but her only mutant power was her ability to touch people and to absorb their memories and their skills and their powers. So thanks, Ed D. Appreciate the super chat. So I'm surprised I can see super chats on here. So anyway, this happened in Avengers Annual number 10. That she touched. This was the intro. This is also the first appearance of Rogue. She touched Captain Marvel for a little bit too long, and she wound up gaining many of her powers, including her great strength, ability to lift 50 tons or so, her flight, and what else? Her durability. She's extremely tough, and I think also a bit of her danger sense, a bit of her seventh sense. But that was hardly ever used by Chris Claremont when he was writing Rogue back in the day. Anyway. Carol Danvers actually despised Rogue. She wanted to murder her. We see in a very early a very recent comic book. I think this was written by Jim Zub, one of the Hunt for Wolverine comic books, that she actually asked Wolverine to kill kill Rogue for him. Hey, what's up, Paula? Yeto, what's up? So that she bore so much resentment against Rogue for the longest time. Currently, she forgives her. She's like, okay, whatever. You were young. You didn't get it. Whatever. But it really messed up. It was Mystery and Madripoor. Thank you, Subham. So Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery and Madripoor, that 4-issue limited series. So very, very cool this year. Plus, on top of that, guys, pay attention. The X-Men are now currently bought and owned. It's a done deal. It's finished, signed, ink, dried. The pen has been lifted and the ink is dry. That's an old saying. That Marvel now owns not only the Fantastic Four, but the X-Men. That includes Rogue. So with Captain Marvel established in here, we could get a very cool version of Rogue. And the other version was cool also, but we can actually get boom, 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 all this good stuff. And we can actually get where Rogue steals some of her powers, whatever, okay, and really messes with Captain Marvel. It was an amazing storyline. It was great, great story fodder for Captain Marvel, but that's just me thinking way in advance. So other argument, if Thanos wanted to save the universe, he could have doubled the resources, but that's also a temporary fix if you think about it. That's a much more temporary fix because the more we have, the more likely that we are to use, right? What do you call it? We get more complacent that way, and it's more about bringing us back to our primal urges and hope that we're going to learn use all that. Yes, Disney does own Marvel. Disney has purchased the Fox cinematic properties, and that includes Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So done. The only character and universe that Marvel doesn't own is Sony's Spider-Man. Sony actually owns, ever since the bankruptcy back in 1996, the Marvel bankruptcy in 96. So Spider-Man and his universe, that includes Venom, that's all owned by Fox over there. But everything else is owned by Disney. The only two characters who are in question would be, for one, the Hulk. The Hulk they don't have distribution rights. Universal Pictures owns distribution rights to the Incredible Hulk. So they could make a solo movie. They have the right to make the solo movies, but they cannot get profit off of the distribution. So they can put him instead in other movies like the Avengers or Thor Ragnarok, and then they're good to go. They can actually make money in that way. So, but if they make a solo Hulk movie like they did, the recent one, The Incredible Hulk, the one before that was separate, then the distribution, including all the merchandising rights, goes directly to Universal. And so, not lifting a finger and still owning that, why would Universal ever give that up? The other character Universal owns like that is Namor, the Submariner. And that one actually seems a little bit more interesting because maybe they can do, maybe Marvel, Disney can do the same thing with Submariner, but whether they can or can't remains to be seen yet. Kevin Feige is still looking into it. That's how troubled. So the most troubled character right now is Namor. So yeah, that kind of stinks. That kind of stinks, especially since Jason Momoa. If you guys saw my interview that I did with Neil Adams. Sorry, I'm looking at my poster over here with Neil Adams that he signed recently. I just did an interview with him. But in that interview, he talks about how Jason Momoa looks like he'd be better at playing Namor the Submariner as opposed to freaking Aquaman. So, and I agreed. Dalton, the only thing I didn't like is they made it seem like she was Kree from birth. That's not really what I'm getting out of this video, but I hear you. Frank O.D., Silver Surfer, and Galactus are who? Oh, that just left. I'm sorry. That one just, excuse me, Andrew Garfield couldn't vision, just phased his hand through. Yeah, usually. Neil Adams is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to end this video. And seriously, comments below, and I'll be happy to react to all those. Also, if you want, go and check out my, what the heck is it called? Yeah, the Facebook group, Comic Book University, the Facebook group. I know most people don't use Facebook, sorry, but it's also a really good way for me to just sit down and chill, and I'll try and do something like that later on in the day where I can just talk about this video and take questions there. So you're going to need to be accepted. Me or one of the moderators will accept you into the group. Just whatever. If you spam a lot, then we'll boot you. But otherwise, feel free to do your stuff. On Twitter, I don't know if you can do live chat on Twitter. And answering questions on Twitter is really hard, Supam, because I'm a giant. I'm 6'5". So my gigantic thumbs trying to figure out how to. I'm always missing keys on Twitter, man. I'm sorry. But I'm going to be late. Yeah, I am going to be late. I actually have to leave for the comic book store in a little while to get my my remaining comic books early. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys later. In a couple hours, look for the This Week in Comics Today, where I'm going to be talking about all the latest comic books and the collectibles that are going to be coming out starting tomorrow, but I'll be getting my grubby hands on them today, including graphic novels and all that good stuff. Should be a good Nightfall graphic novel coming out this week, just like last week there was one. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed. And I just have to learn how to actually close. Oh, I think this is it. Okay, bye.